Okay, we're going to pick up where we left off after hands-on exercise number 2. We are in chapter 1, hands-on exercise number 3. This is the OK Office Systems pricing information sheet, and we've got all of our formulas written in columns D and F and G. And now we're ready to do some formatting and some different things with our worksheet. If we look down at the bottom, we see that right now all we have is one worksheet in this particular spreadsheet file, and it says sheet 1. We're going to learn how to do things like manage multiple worksheets. We're going to manage rows and columns, adjust column width and row height, and hide and unhide columns. So the first thing that we're going to do is rename this sheet that is written as sheet 1 right now. Notice that we are in September 1st, 2016 information, so we're going to change this sheet name to actually read September. If we double left clicked on sheet 1, it would bring it up in kind of an editing format, and I could type the word September right there into the tab and then hit enter, and that's now renamed September. It used to be sheet 1. If, for example, I had one for each month of the year, I could add one, and to add another sheet, all I do is click on this plus button right next to the September tab. And let's, for example, it's named sheet number 2. Let me double left click it one more time and just type October, for example. Okay, I can type October there. I can move the sheets, so if I hold down my left mouse button, I can move October to the left or to the right of September, however I want to see it. So I can reorder spreadsheets if I have multiple sheets. If I wanted to, I could right click on the October sheet, and let's say I didn't need it. I could hit delete, or I could rename it or move it or copy it. There's a lot of things I can do. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one because we didn't want it in the first place. But if you do have multiple worksheets, it might be nice to, like if you were looking at chapters in a book, sometimes you put colored tabs into various sections of a book so you could quickly find different things. Well, you can change the tab color of your worksheets as well for better visualization. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on the word September and go to tab color, and in this particular instance I'm going to make this tab color red. So just like you would do with a book, you can add tabs and you can change the color of those tabs. Okay, so we've done that. Go ahead and click save just to make sure we're saving the file. Now we're going to go ahead and insert rows and columns. So we want to insert a column right before profit margin. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cursor on the letter G. That'll help me insert a column. There's many different ways to do things, but I'm going to go ahead and right click. I could come over here to the cells area and do insert cells, insert sheet columns, which will do the same thing I'm going to do. Or I could right click on the heading G for column G and hit insert, and it will insert a column as well. So again, multiple ways to do things. I'm going to go ahead and do insert sheet columns right up here from the cells area. And in this particular column, we're going to type profit amount. So I have one column for profit margin, one column for profit amount. One thing I didn't show you is how to adjust the column width, and let's just do one of those real quick. If I put my cursor between G and H, I get this black plus sign or black cross looking thing. I can hold down my left mouse button and just simply drag in either direction. If I want it bigger, I drag to the right, smaller, I drag to the left. And let's drag it so I can see both words profit amount. So I've now done that, and I've manually adjusted a column width. Profit amount is a simple formula. That is our sale price minus our cost. We're going to use cell references in our formula. Start the formula with the equal sign. It's F5 minus B5. Okay? And that's the profit amount. Then I'm going to simply use autofill once again, as we learned in hands-on exercise number 2, and drag that down. Okay? So now I have inserted a column. Okay, let's go over to the row 5 heading where it says computer systems, okay, I can insert from the cells, this time insert a sheet row, or I can right click on that number 5 and hit insert. I'm going to do it this way this time. So I've now inserted a row into our spreadsheet, and I'm going to type the word electronics. Now what we are selling as OK Office Systems is electronics and office furniture. So I'm going to have a heading for electronics and another one for office furniture. One thing that we haven't learned is any formatting yet, and right over here in the font area we can change the color of the font. We can add a fill, which is like the background color for that cell. We could do bold or italics or underline. We want to make this particular word electronics bold. So I can either hit Control and B at the same time or click on the little B right there. And now we have a bolded electronics. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to enter in row 8 another word. I'm going to right click, insert, and I'm going to type furniture. And I'm going to do the same thing with that heading. I'm going to bold that as well. So now I have electronics, a computer system, and a color laser printer, and in under furniture I have a filing cabinet, desk chair, solid oak computer desk, and a 28-inch monitor. Notice that the monitor better fits with electronics, so we're going to move that here in a second. We have decided not to carry filing cabinets anymore, so I want to go ahead and delete row 9, which has the filing cabinets. I could click on the 9 in the row headings and right click and hit delete, or I can come over to the cells, hit delete, delete sheet row, and that's what I'm going to do there. So we've gotten rid of row 9, which represented filing cabinets. So now we have 2 items in electronics and 3 under furniture, one of which needs to be moved to electronics. So we've deleted a row. Let's talk about adjusting the column width and the row height. Let's say, for example, I wanted to make column A exactly width of 23. Okay, I could come over here to the format, and I have the row height and the column width. I'm going to select column width, and I'm going to make that exactly 23. Okay, so now we can read the different types of furniture that we have. Before we couldn't read solid oak computer desk, and now we can. We've expanded that column width to size 23. We can do the same thing with row height, and in in row 1 I want to make the row height to be 30 there. I'll come into the format, row height, and I'll type in 30, and notice that it has expanded. But I could do the same thing. I could kind of manually drag it down to increase the size of the row, or drag it back up to shrink the size of that row. Okay, go ahead and hit save one more time. We're almost done with this hands-on exercise. All we're going to talk about now is hiding and unhiding columns. Let's say, for example, I didn't want our consumers to see our markup rate. We don't want them to know how much we've marked up the product, so that they don't really know if they're getting a bad or a good deal. So I'm in the column C heading that contains our markup rates. I also want to hide column E and column H, and I'm going to show you a quick shortcut to kind of highlight 3 non-adjacent cell ranges and do some formatting to those all at the same time. So what I've done is I've clicked on the column C heading, and I'm going to hit the control button. I'm going to hold that down and hit column E. I'm going to keep the control held down, and I'm going to click on column H. So now I've selected 3 different columns in just at the same time. Okay, and what I'm going to do there now, if I wanted to, I could hide these, or I can unhide these. So let's go ahead and go into the format again, which is where we did the row height and the column width, and I can do visibility, hide columns. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So now I've hidden 3 columns. The data is still there. We haven't deleted anything. And if you look very closely, in between B and D is column C. Okay, column C is hidden, and it looks a little bit different than it did before. Now, I could go back, do Format, Hide and Unhide, and unhide the columns, and those three columns would reappear. So all we're doing is really changing the view. We're not changing the data itself. Okay? And again, we're going to go back and just, for this example, we're going to unhide the columns. And so now all that data comes back. Go ahead and click Save, and we're done with hands-on exercise number 3.